We want to fill in some more of the technical side of this storm, and Vanessa is joined with a guest to do just that. Hi again, Vanessa.
Hello, John. Good morning, everybody. We want to talk beach erosion. We know this storm is going to pack a punch, but our beaches may be particularly affected. So joining me right now, Phil Ortis from the Stevens Institute of Technology to talk beach erosion and also some coastal flooding. How bad will this be for our beaches?
Well, this storm is really frightening because it's got the three important factors that can lead to bad coastal erosion. That's the elevation of the storm surge, which is going to be unusually high. Also, it's the duration of the storm, which is going to last for a couple days, starting tomorrow, today even, getting underway tonight. And then it's also got very large waves, maybe 20 feet at the shore, and some waves even about 30 feet. So areas to the north and east of the storm will be getting onshore winds. So the northern half of the New Jersey coast is expected to get that, and also the Long Island coast.
Right, so many in our viewing area can really be impacted. The beaches will be battered. It's not going to be some beaches getting a buildup and some being depleted in this case. You really think for most beaches it's going to be a depletion?
Areas to the south of the storm might get some buildup of their beach. The beaches may grow a little bit. That's harder to predict, but some storms like Irene actually built up beaches, so that's sometimes possible. But if you're north and east of the storm, it's much more likely to be an erosion situation. Dunes may even be eroded. If the surge is as high as at the highest levels of the uncertainty that they're worried about, it could even go into over dunes and into some neighborhoods at deep levels.
Right, so let's talk about some of those specific neighborhoods that you've highlighted that you have the biggest concerns for.
Yeah, well, coming into the urban area and getting away from the coast, areas that are in the low-lying flood zones have the potential of getting flooded. Right now, there's still enough uncertainty with the timing of the high tide, which is really important, and the peak storm surge timing. So if it comes right at the time of high tide, 9 p.m. in New York Harbor around here, and about midnight in Long Island Sound, western Long Island Sound, that's the worst case scenario. And right now it's forecast to come a few hours off high tide for New York Harbor, so that could help. But for western Long Island Sound, it's right at high tide, and in both cases we could set record flood elevations. And it could come about a few feet to several feet above the seawalls around here and into these neighborhoods.
Right, so you said Flushing is one that you have the big concern for.
Neighborhoods like Flushing and Lower Manhattan, Hoboken is really bad.
Okay, well, thank you so much for joining us. Of course, we'll continue to bring you more information on what areas will be biggest impacted, but we know across the tri-state area, the storm surge as well as the winds will be powerful and causing a lot of destruction. Cindy, back to you.
All right, Vanessa, thank you very much.
We are anticipating historic storm surge flooding in downtown Manhattan.
Pressure in this thing is staggering. If it stays at 946 millibars, that would set a record for the lowest pressure ever to hit the forecast model.
I want to talk about what all that wind has done with the water, and it's all about surge, record storm surge, pushing all that water onshore. Look at that.
If you can see in the distance, it's a little bit difficult. Our lights don't project that far, but that is the ocean waves crashing onto the barrier right on the other side.
Well, I have to tell you, we had a very, very difficult time getting the CBS 2 Mobile Weather Lab out of Battery Park. The water was rising very quickly. Now we're on Greenwich and Morris Street. Take a look. You'll notice that there are quite a few people who've gathered. And now we're going to zoom in, and we hope that you can see it as well as we can, because the water is spilling. It is not only now moved, obviously come up from New York Harbor, it's onto West Street. We're talking about the end part of the West Side Highway completely flooded. That water is now spilling over into the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel. I'm not sure if you can see it. Because of this water, they just moments ago cut the lights. They turned off the power to at least part of the area because of this flowing water. So now we're seeing it is like a waterfall just cascading into the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel. I mean, we've had dozens and dozens of people who have come up. They're walking across the bridge so they can take a look at it. People have gathered here. They continue to come up the street. Even if you look this way, let's walk this way. And if you look in between this little area here, you can see the water just running. At least I hope you can see the water. It's just running into the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel. It's amazing. We keep hearing people say, even police officers who are off duty, we keep hearing them say, I've never seen anything like this before. And of course, that's what this is doing. Now, right now, the winds are not too horrible. We're not even seeing a tremendous amount of rain right now, and Lonnie's continued to talk about that. But it is, of course, that coastal storm surge. And here at Battery Park, we were expecting anywhere the water level to rise to between 10 and 12 feet. It hasn't even gotten there yet, and this is what we're already seeing. Power has already been cut to certain locations. We're already seeing water running down West Street, running down portions of the West Side Highway, and we've shot some incredible video. We're going to be feeding that in momentarily. You'll see people. It's like nothing you've ever seen, certainly not here in Lower Manhattan, but that is indeed what we have tonight. I'm glad we shot it when we did, because just moments after we started talking, they cut more power. So we are almost in the dark here. The only lights on this block from the camera and the CBS 2 mobile weather lab. Just take a look. I mean, just darkness here. We had dozens of people who had come by to take a look at this before. They've obviously left because it's difficult to see. We're going to zoom in though and see if you can kind of make out. Certainly if you can't see it that well, you may be able to still hear the water is running on the Manhattan side of the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel. And now, I mean, it really just looks like a waterfall. It almost looks like a water feature at a water park. It's unbelievable. And even in the dark, people continue to walk over and take a look at it. We've got some cars that are submerged over there as this water just continues to pour in. And again, one of the problems is as the storm surge, as the water continues to push up onto Lower Manhattan, anything that's lower than the street or area next to it, well, that's where the water is going to flow, from high to low. And so we continue to just see this water rushing. It's incredible. When we first started seeing some of this flooding in the streets, we really thought that maybe a fire hydrant or some sort of water main may have broken because it was seen to be so far away from the New York harbor. But this is what's happening. We've got the water. It's just pushed into the streets, into parts of the West Side Highway. So it is unbelievable. And one thing I have to say is we also have this overwhelming smell of oil down here. I'm not exactly sure what that's about. I'm not sure if that's home heating oil, but it has an overwhelming odor of oil down here. And because we're in the dark, unfortunately, I don't see things really getting better in terms of people who are out and about, because there are just a lot of hazards here. We've seen some fire trucks racing. We've seen some Army National Guard trucks. So there is a lot going on out here, and unfortunately, very little of it is good. So we will continue. We're going to move around a little bit more, shoot some more video. Some of it is difficult to bring the CBS 2 mobile weather lab because the water is so incredibly high. So we're going to walk over, shoot some more video, and of course, we'll continue to bring it back to you as we stay on the air. With that, you guys, I'll send it back to you.
Failed. CBS 2's Dick Brennan live on the east side of Manhattan with more on this developing situation.
Well, what happened here was after the area got blacked out, the backup generator failed. Nobody seems to know why.
Much of New York City has been brought to its knees.
The storm literally has crippled the tri-state area. Millions right now without power, and devastation like we have never seen before.
You can take a look at the water actually just pouring over the seawall now.
We'll be with you throughout the entire night, guys. I'm sure I'll be talking to you come 3 o'clock in the morning. We're going to be here.